So the promise of Mac is that you have a system which is really built in a much more componentized way. And if you build it in a much more componentized way, you get rid of what we now call the monolith, this giant sort of slab of interconnected code and functionality that lives at the heart of most old school e-commerce suites.
It's that ability to adopt technology and fit for purpose or specialist technologies that are going to help you elevate your brand. So whether that's going to be personalization engines or A/B testing or commerce, you can select and choose the right thing for your organization at the right time.
Mac does bring a degree of complexity in that you are composing services from multiple different vendors rather than having everything provided straight out of the box. That degree of complexity is also a real benefit in some ways, although that level of composition, because it means you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. It means you can manage risk on a kind of more localized basis, particularly if you're moving from more of an old school monolithic architecture to Mac. It means you can do it in stages. You don't have to do it in a big bang. You can replace each component part as you go, and that's a common strategy we see our customers taking, something that works really successfully. So effectively strangling out the kind of older technology piece by piece. It's a great approach. It enables quick delivery of value, so you can concentrate perhaps on areas that are going to deliver the most immediate customer value, and it also allows you to manage risk, and it allows you to learn as you go, which is something again we find everyone does, and we continue to learn about new and better ways to do things.
Over the past few years, there's been a huge driver into people wanting to take control of their digital experiences. There has been a legacy of either technology or business processes that make it really hard and inflexible to achieve goals that people want to get to. Mac has a promise of being able to remove those obstacles in your way, give yourself the freedom to do those things. But it also has another advantage. It means that you can control and define what your experiences are going to be without constraints.
I think that composable approach is also great in that our customers don't know what the future is going to bring. I think the only thing we know is cliche, but the only thing we really know about the future is it's going to be different to it is now. And the Mac approach is really built for that. Okay, it's going to allow you to change as your business evolves, as your customers evolve, as you need to provide new experiences to them. It gives you that complete flexibility to be able to innovate and go in the direction you need to as a business.
Long ago it was, we just have to put up a website and maybe a mobile, whereas now we're having to look at in-store, we're having to look at digital signage, we're having to look at new email technologies that are coming. The rate of change is insane. How we can adopt and how we can adapt to that change is key. Customers would have adopted monoliths or would have adopted technology that was very fixed, lots of power and benefits to them, but it's single channel, single entity, whereas now they're having to look at other channels, other modes of engaging with the customer, and how do they work with that?
Really, it's all about the business transformation to more agile ways of working. So the adoption of tribes and squads, aligning your product teams around various pieces of functionality, separating out your front-end experience into micro front ends, essentially, so that essentially you've got a very vertically aligned slice through the actual platform all the way through the technology layer, such that an individual team, an e-commerce category team, for example, might actually control their own product lister pages and their own PDP pages. If you think about that, that's a radically different way of organizing versus the way that e-commerce teams are set up at the moment. So the big challenge is moving to this model where you have these vertically aligned agile product teams that are very much focused on the parts of the experience they're responsible for. And what it enables you to do in Macland is make changes to that without affecting other parts of the system. So everything is relatively well isolated.
It enables our customers to really focus in on the piece of the experience that matters to their customers, which is that front end part of the experience. And that decoupled nature means they can deliver different front end experiences customized for all the different kind of channels, and they can really concentrate on innovation in those areas without having to worry about those back end systems. And they also have the benefit of the kind of create once, publish anywhere type of approach. So they can, their business teams can be creating content that's being distributed across all their channels, and that's really, really important thing in sort of serving a kind of cohesive end user experience where customers are going to be interacting with their brands across multiple kind of touch points.
We've heard certain customers that have moved into this new paradigm go from 10 releases a year to 5,000. That's a radically different change cadence to previously. Of course, they're not the same size releases, but that's the whole point. You can make lots of small changes, tens a week if you need to, that continually enable you to optimize the experience, take the feedback, look at the analytics, test new ideas, build new capability into whichever part of the user experience in the system you're managing without unduly impacting everybody else. And that's the huge promise of taking this sort of microservices approach, is that you get this sort of isolation around these product teams. They can act independently of each other. They can release code into the system independently of each other. And the net therefore is everybody moves faster. So it's all about change. It's all about that ability to move really fast. It's about being able to therefore, take the feedback from customers, use the research that you're doing, understand the analytics, act on those insights really fast. We talk about it at Amplience as about closing the gap between insight and action. What does that actually mean? It just means being able to get on and do the job in the here and now without waiting for some complex cycle to spin up or your turn in the queue or whatever it happens to be. So fundamentally it's about dealing with, and let's face it, a very fast changing external environment much more efficiently. It's about getting closer to customers, being more customer centric, using data and insights, and fundamentally, doing things in a way that gives you an advantage in the market.